Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. This is Coach Phil with Weight Loss Made Easy Solution. Today is Thursday. A few more days, and Emily and I get to go on vacation for the first time in probably 20 years for a few days, which we're looking forward to. So, guys, today is a topic that I wasn't too sure if I was going to do it or not. But most of you that follow me know that Emily and I are in the business of educating people, giving them scientific research on certain subjects, and pointing them in the right directions to give them the opportunity to research what we talk about themselves. We want everybody to know the facts. We want everybody to understand how important it is for you individuals to actually do your own research. Don't listen to me, don't listen to doctors. Just take the information that we give you and follow up on it and research it yourself. Most of the time I do the work for you. When I do these videos, I put the science information in the description section. So I'm doing the same thing with this today, but I felt like I really needed to talk about this because it's a subject that's being talked about a lot. The topic today is what does science say about wearing a mask when exercising? And there's not really, I don't know if you call it controversy about it, but there's some things that you guys need to know, especially if those of you that have some type of underlying medical issue and you're in the gym and you're exercising, because that's part of your health puzzle, is to get your immune system back boosted up, to make whatever issue you have to be reversed or to prevent any issues. But with this lockdown and this mandatory mask wearing, that some people have issues with this, and I'm one of them. And I'll explain to you what my issues are. But for those of you that are exercising that have underlying issues like, let's say, prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, fatty livers, obesity, if you have any kind of blood issues or brain trauma issues, or if you if you have cancer, or if you're post-cancer. Those of you that have cancer and post-cancer, you really need to look at wearing a mask when you're exercising, especially if you're doing some kind of endurance exercising or the type of exercising that Emily and I do, which is interval strength training, because we raise our hearts up pretty high, and we're sucking wind, so especially toward our max set. And so oxygen is very important. The question is how long can you live without oxygen? And we all know the answer to that. But if you're watching the news and you're looking at the health professionals, especially about these people talking about kids going in school, they're always talking about or referring to, well, let's see what science says about this. Maybe we should follow what science is saying about this. So why don't we do this? Why don't we see what science is saying about wearing a mask when exercising? Now, I want to clear something up first. I want to read something that I should be reading at every one of my videos. I do put it in the description center or description section of my YouTubes, just to inform people. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to convince anybody to wear a mask or not wear a mask. It's your choice of what you want to do. You have that choice. But I'm going to give you what science says about it and my own experience. So this is not, it's just, I'm not trying to change your mind. I just want to give you the facts, and I want to point you in the right directions on what science is saying about this. And you make your own choice. That's your privilege of living here in the United States. You have a choice, and most of you, I don't know, you just don't take the time to really research this. But this is, I really need to focus on you guys that have underlying medical issues, especially if you have cancer or post-cancer. This is really important. So, okay, so it seems like when you research about what's the percentage of oxygen you lose when wearing a mask? Well, it depends on certain masks, it seems like. But it looks like the average is about 20%. Okay, now how significant is 20% when somebody who has cancer or is post-cancer? Well, over a long period of time, 20% is really not very good. I mean, especially if you've had cancer, and especially if you've gone through the Western cancer treatment, and your oncologist told you a lie and said you're cancer-free. And that's for another subject and why I said something like that. But anyway, so 20% could be an issue. Now, most people, 20% for, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour while you're exercising may not affect you, but it affects me. I cannot have a mask on for a long period of time because of what happens to me, and I'll explain to you what happens to me. Okay, so I went ahead and for you guys, I went ahead and looked up. I went on the CDC site. And I wanted to see what the CDC had to say because there's a lot of talk as far as the health professional doctors on the Trump, when Trump does his talk about the COVID and the doctors get on there and they refer back to the CDC. So that seems to be who they're really connected with. So what does the CDC say about wearing a mask when exercising? Well, let's see. This is likely depends on the type of exercise and the nature of the location. The CDC recommends not wearing a mask during high-intensity activities, which Emma and I do. Even on our non-exercise day, we go on a pretty good extreme hike. So oxygen intake is very, very important for us to be able to finish the hike. And so those of you that are health professionals have been doing this for a long time, especially you old school guys, you guys know how important breathing is when you're exercising. I mean, you trainers, especially you strength and conditioning coach who works with athletes, how many times have you told your clients or your athletes, breathe? Yeah, well, if you're losing 20% of your oxygen when you're trying to exercise, there could be an issue there, right? So they also give you an example of what kind of intensive activity, like running. It causes breathing difficulty, the mask does. Sweat can also make the mask become wet, making it even more difficult to breathe through and could promote growth of bacteria. I don't think the word could promote. It does promote it. Okay, so it will happen. Now, there's a researcher by the name of Lindsay Bottom, and I'll read what she has to say about wearing a mask when you're exercising. Now, this particular comment from her is very important for those of you that have an underlying medical issue because obviously your body is very acidic. Your body is full of inflammation and toxic chemicals. The environmental toxins also creates inflammation of the body. But listen to what she has to say about wearing a mask when you're exercising. She is the deputy head of the Center of Research, Physiology and Sports Science at the University and Sports Science at the University of Hertfordshire in the UK. Very prominent school that does a lot of research on sports medicine. So this is something that we definitely need to listen to. Lindsay Bottom's comment, this is her comment. She explains that during heavy exercise, we exhale more carbon dioxide is trapped by face mask and re-inhaled. It could reduce brain function and make it harder to breathe properly. This also may cause lack of oxygen in the blood. Lack of oxygen in the blood for somebody who has cancer or somebody who's post-cancer is really, really dangerous. So remember that. Lack of oxygen. Now, I'm going to give you some more science information about lack of oxygen and what it does to a post-cancer patient that has been told by his oncologist he's cancer-free, which he's not. They're giving them wrong advice. You could research it yourself. You can actually go to the Truth About Cancer series and listen to the real doctors there who have done the research that you can't kill cancers. You can't kill all the cancer cells, ever. Never going to happen. They go dormant. Look with stem cells. Can cancer treatment kill stem cells? No. So, this also may cause lack of oxygen in the blood. This will cause your blood to be more acidic. Guys, this is where this is the blood acidity for a person who is post-cancer, who's been cancer-free for what, 6 years, 7 years? He can't afford to have any kind of lack of oxygen in the blood, which makes it acidic. Because why is there such a high percentage of people who are post-cancer, and the percentage is super high after 5 years of getting cancer again? Because their body becomes acidic all over again. Cancer never goes away. The cancer is going to be dormant in the body. All right? So that is what Lindsay Bottom says. Now, the National Health Institute, or the National Institute of Health, let's see what they say about carbon dioxide. They say that inhaling high levels of carbon dioxide may be life-threatening. Can also cause, these are some of the symptoms of carbon dioxide poisoning. And this is probably why I feel the way I feel if I have my mask on too long. It can cause headaches, vertigo, which to me, I get dizziness, double vision, I can see a little bit of that. The inability to concentrate, tinnitus, well, I have tinnitus pretty severe, so I don't think I could get it any worse. Well, maybe I can. Which is a hearing noise, like a ringing or a buzzing that's not caused by outside sources. Seizures, suffocation due to displacement of air. So here you have these different these are, science sites that are giving you an idea of what's happening when you're exercising. Now, most of you who aren't exercising and wearing a mask, you're only wearing it just to go to the store, or you're wearing it if you're around a lot of people, or if you're in a church group, you're wearing a mask, and that's all great. And most of you can handle that because it's just a short amount of time. Personally, I can't even handle that, and I'll explain why. Now, one more, South Medic stated that carbon dioxide, and you see I'm falling back on carbon dioxide when exercising, because when you're exercising, you're breathing a lot faster and deeper. So what are you producing? Okay, carbon dioxide. Now this is an explanation of what it is. Carbon dioxide is a gas that the body naturally produces as waste. It's toxic. It's toxic to the body. That's why you're blowing it out. Doesn't that make sense? Why do you sweat when you're exercising? What is sweat? Sweat is the toxicity that's built up in your cells that's being pushed out by you exercising. What does your lymphatic system do? It pushes out the toxins that are released from the body. So, you're wearing this mask while you're exercising. If you're exercising like you're supposed to be, even at a senior age, like you're supposed to be, and you're sucking in carbon dioxide, you're going to accumulate toxic chemicals in the blood, which is going to become acidic, in a much faster time period than if you weren't exercising. You're just walking around with your mask. So you've got to really be careful with this, guys. And so that's the couple of articles that I found. Now, other symptoms were muscle twitches, rapid heart rate, chest pain, confusion, fatigue. In extreme cases, if left untreated, could lead to organ damage and even long-standing effects on the brain. Now, anybody that's had brain trauma in their life need to really understand this and how important it is to understand why you got to be very careful about wearing a mask while you're exercising. Now, here we go. Remember what I said about the lack of oxygen if you're a cancer patient or if you're post-cancer? Now, and I told you that your oncologist, if you're post-cancer, told you you're cancer-free. You guys aren't. Go to that website, The Truth About Cancer. Look in the sections where it talks about the truth about cancer stem cells. There is no medication, there is no cancer treatment on the planet that will completely kill the cancer stem cells. All they do is go dormant. And so that's why so many people, and I researched this, because why? Because I'll explain why in a second. But there was a Nobel Prize winner, I think it was in the 1900s. He won the Nobel Prize, I think it was 1908, I'm not sure. Somewhere in that range. His name was Dr. Otto Warburg. Guys, Dr. Otto Warburg discovered that lack of oxygen at the cellular level causes the mitochondria to become dysfunctional and is the root cause of most all cancers. You can look that up yourself. You just look up Dr. Otto Warburg, Nobel Prize winner, and look at his research he did on the lack of oxygen in the blood at the cellular level, and how it affects the mitochondria and how it is the root cause of cancer. That simple. So for me personally, I'm post-cancer. I was told 7 years ago I had a mouth cancer because I smoked a pipe for over 20 years. They wanted me to go and get a biopsy on it. I refused to because I've seen too many people who had mouth cancer and who went got a biopsy, and most all of them ended up with a half a face, or they eventually died. So obviously I wasn't going to do that. And I also did all my research on how to fight cancer naturally by just changing the type of foods I was eating and the time I was eating. So I'm preventing it because I'm doing our protocols, the primal meals or ketogenic meals, and I'm combining it with intermittent fasting and prolonged fasting. And then there was just a series, my wife's been listening to a series every night. They actually had a Dr. Thomas Seinfeld on there, who's from Boston College, who is now teaching other doctors by changing your lifestyle with, changing the type of food you're eating, and also going to a high-fat, very low-carb diet and combining it with intermittent prolonged fasting, you starve cancer cells. He did a whole, I think it was an hour to 2 hour, showing his research and showing how he has reversed brain cancer with his patients. But how many of your oncologists out there told you guys about that story? Most of them probably. I haven't heard one yet. Not one. But anyway, and so for me, I'm looking at where my concern is not so much about am I going to pass out because of lack of oxygen when I'm exercising. My main concern is the lack of oxygen in my blood in a long period or over a period of time causing issues at the cellular level and dysfunctioning of my mitochondria. And I know for a fact that cancer cells don't just die, they go dormant. But what activates the cancer cells once they're dormant? Well, you go back to your old Western style of eating, your old lifestyle, processed food, poison, water, toxins in the water causing your body to get acidic and causing massive amounts of inflammation, and that's going to activate those dormant cancer cells. So that's what I'm thinking about. So I have to be really careful, okay? Now, for me, over the years, I've had pneumonia 3 times, major bouts of it. Still till this day, I do feel like I have some kind of lung issue because it gets inflamed every so often, especially if I stress out, or if I start feeling a little, I like getting a cold on or something, it hits me here. And so that could be a reason why I can't wear my mask for a long period of time. And so what happens to me, guys, is if I wear a mask fully over my nose and everything for any length of time, I start getting short of breath, get a little tingling in my fingers, and I do get a dizzy feeling. And as soon as I feel this, once I bring the mask down below my nose and I start breathing out of my nose, then it goes away. It goes away, boom, just like that. So then I can go ahead and breathe a little bit. It takes me a little time because the shortness of breath, that gets a little scary to me because I don't know. I mean, I have actually passed out before in the past, and I don't need to do that again, okay? So there was one other test one other research I found that I forgot to mention, and I think I better mention that now, is that now there isn't a lot, guys, I'll be honest, okay? There's not really a lot of science on this yet, but there's enough now. I mean, even if even the CDC says that wearing a mask while exercising could be an issue, and although Dr. Otto Warburg, the Nobel Prize winner, finding that lack of oxygen in the blood causes a dysfunctional mitochondria, which is the root cause of cancer. And those of you that are post-cancer knows you can't do this. You can't take a chance. Okay. Now, some of you might be thinking that had cancer and now have been cancer have it under control. I like that word better than cancer-free because you have it under control. You might be thinking, well, you know what, I only exercise 2 or 3 days a week. Well, trauma is what starts cancer in the first place. So nobody knows, how much it takes to activate that cancer. So why even take a chance? I don't see why you would even I don't want to take a chance. But anyway, what they did in this research here is they took a group of experienced athletes. They gave one group a mask, and they gave another group a mask. And what they did was they had them get on a treadmill and do like an alternate day or interval running. So they increased the running a little bit at a time. And the bottom line was that the ones that wore the mask, they became dizzy after just a few minutes of exertion. So once they got, what that one article was talking about was that once these guys started to breathe harder because they intensified the exercise, within a few minutes they got dizzy. The ones that weren't wearing a mask, they were fine. Okay, and so guys, you know what? You just do your research. educate yourself when wearing about wearing a mask when you're exercising, especially if you have an underlying disease like cancer or post-cancer or post-cancer. And just make your own decision. You know, some of you may not affect you one bit, and that's great. But it affects me, and I do not want to take a chance of having any kind of underlying issues after wearing the mask because they told me I had to wear a mask and then have something happen. I'm 68 now, and so I can't take that chance. Okay, guys? So, guys, like I said, I'm not trying to convince anybody to not wear a mask or wear a mask. I'm not trying to say it's something you shouldn't do. All I'm saying is just educate yourself, make an educational decision on what's safe for you, because what they're saying that it's mandatory to wear a mask. I can go to my doctor and I can get a letter from her making me what I'm trying to do exempt from wearing a mask because of my issues. I have no problem wearing a mask going to the store. I have no problem wearing a mask walking into my church and then walking out, as long as I can take it off every so often. I will do that just out of respect. But what I won't do is wear it long enough to a point where I start feeling the effects of lack of oxygen. I won't do that at all. Okay. So guys, I hope this topic helped you a little bit about when you see people wearing masks in the gym, or even if you see somebody that's not wearing a mask. There could be. Don't judge him. He might have some kind of an issue and he can't wear it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm going to see you guys. I'll see you guys next time around on another video. Have a great day. Bye.